I am the Ready One-to-One coach at South Garland High School. My email address is ldwesley@garlandisd.net. So if you have any questions, need some material, whatever, please, please, please reach out. I'm always here to help. Okay, so what is insert learning? If you've never heard of insert learning, it is a Chrome add-on, and then you can transform any web page into an interactive lesson. You can insert questions, videos, you can insert Google Forms, you can do a lot of different app smashing. It works with Edpuzzle, Flipgrid, Google Classroom, because it works with all of the LMSs. It is amazing. The only caveat is students need to be on a computer or laptop. They cannot do this on a mobile device. It doesn't bring anything up for them. So you need to make sure that you have either laptops or computers and that you give that opportunity to your students. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to add the extension. We're going to create an account, which they do have a one-click account with Google. Then you can find any website, and I literally mean any website. And then once you click on the extension, you can highlight, ask questions, add a discussion, do sticky notes. And then we're going to talk about what app smashing is. And then you just assign it to your students through Google Classroom. And then they turn it in and you can see all of their amazing things. So let's go ahead. If you do not have the extension, now is the time. So we're going to do this together so we can kind of show you guys what it is. So I'm going to switch to a new tab. I just heard the doorbell. Hold on, let me let someone in. Okay, it didn't, I guess they were able to get in. Okay, all right, so new tab, we're just going to type in insertlearning.com. So I recommend that you do this along with me so we can, make sure it's a hands-on deal. So here is the homepage for Insert Learning. You're going to click Add to Chrome, the big green button here at the bottom, and it's going to take you to this Sign Up with Google page. Now, I've already signed up, but I'll click it again so you can see what happens. It's going to bring up the small window and says, hey, which account do you want us to use? So you click on your GIS account, and then you have to tell it that you're a teacher, and that's choosing your role so that you can assign it to whatever, and then it'll prompt you to create a class. You don't need to do that now. You can just click Not Now, and then you'll see this dashboard. Okay, so when everyone sees their dashboard, give me a thumbs up, those of you that have your cameras on. Yes, yes. Okay, sweet. Okay. All right, most of you have given me a thumbs up. All right, so here is your dashboard. You can see I've got one lesson that I did with a test class. My daughter is actually a freshman in high school, so I send her a lot of stuff just to play with it and make her do it. It's kind of funny. So I can filter. This is where you would come to get the results and grade things. So I can look for grades. I can see my classes. I can find resources here, or I can go to any website. Not able to see your screen. Okay. This is the one I'm sharing. So, maybe it kicked me out of the presenter view again. Let's see. It did. Yes, and a Chrome tab, thank you. Insert Learning Dashboard Share. Okay, here we go. So now you guys should be able to see my screen. So here's Insert Learning, my lessons, my grades, my classes. So you can see I've got my iCon session class, a test class. Here are the lessons I've shared with my test class. They have a public library, so you can find other Insert Learning pages that people have done. And then you've got like your grades and things like that. So for my daughter, I just did a basic like 3 branches of the government page, but we are going to go to resources and we're going to click find content. So you can type in anything that's relevant to your content. I used to teach social studies, so I'm going to type in ancient Egypt and search. So now I see my first website here is from the Smithsonian. We know that's a reputable source. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Smithsonian, and it's going to open a new tab. So here is the Smithsonian page about ancient Egypt. So now I have a ton of things to pick from, and I'm going to do, I'm going to do this mask here. But you see my little insert learning menu popped up. So here are my options. I can assign this immediately to a class. I can highlight text. I can add a sticky note. I can do a question. I can insert a discussion, or I can do a few more options. Okay, so I'm going to just click on this mask here. Take me there. Okay, so now I can see I'm on this new page for the Smithsonian, and it's telling me about this mummy mask. So the picture, there you go. All right, so now it tells me mummy masks were an elaborate part of the burial ritual in ancient Egypt dating back thousands of years. So if I want this to kind of draw attention for my students and say, hey, we need to make sure we're reading this, okay, I'm going to click on my highlighter tool here. Highlight. And then I can literally just go and pick what I want, and now it's highlighted. So then if I want to add a sticky note and leave a note for my kids and say, the Egyptians believed death was an interruption rather than an end to life. So I highlighted this, insert a sticky note. I did. Oh, the internet is not my friend this morning. Once it loads, I'm going to have like 7 sticky notes, so I'll be patient. Let's try a question instead. So the math did not present a portrait. We'll do insert question. Oh, internet, why do you hate me this morning? Okay, well, let's try and refresh the page and see if that will work since it's not working. You saw the highlight. The highlight is a really cool feature. The sticky note is even cooler because that's where you can put like your Flipgrid and your Google form quizzes. You can do all sorts of amazing things, and it's not letting me do any of that this morning. Okay, so you can see, even though I reloaded, my paragraph is still highlighted where I highlighted it. So I'm going to insert the sticky note. Oh, it'll let me do it on the picture. Okay, we'll do it there then. All right, so see how it says type or paste anything here, images, YouTube links, embed codes, whatever. So anything that has an embed code, like a Google form, you could do an entire Google website. Anything that gives you an embed code, you can put here. So if I wanted my students to answer a couple of questions, I would type in, read the paragraph above, then answer the questions on this Google form. Yeah. Okay, so then they would know to come click down here, and they would be able to click on my hyperlink. If I want to just insert any question, sure, we'll insert it here. I can create a stem. So they've got summarize, identify. These are things to just help you. Okay, so here, find one vocabulary word and write a sentence about it. So then I would just hit create. Notice it was automatically 10 points. So when you go to grade it, you would be able to see what your students typed in. So when you assign this, how it says view all responses, I would just click that and then I'd be able to see all of my responses. So now let's say I've completely done everything I want to do. I'm going to go back to assign, and you can see it will let you import your Google Classroom classes. So I've already done this test class with my daughter here, so I'm going to hit assign. And now if I go to Google Classroom or even back to my Insert Learning dashboard, that assignment is there for her. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard. I'm going to click on lessons. So now you can see I've got the government lesson that I did before, and then I've got this new mask lesson that was assigned to my test class. So then I can share it with other teachers. I can edit the information, I can move it, or I can delete it. So if I go to grades, and I can filter by test class, and I'm going to select a lesson for our government so you can see what my daughter typed in. The question I posed to her was list the 2 supporting details of the paragraph. So she was talking about, like I said, it was a page that discussed the government and the 3 branches. So she was talking about how representatives and senators are up for re-election in any given election year. So then I can come in and provide some feedback and say, yes, but next time be sure to list term limits. Okay, and then I can give her a score. So I would give her like a 4 out of 5 here, and then here's her grade. And then it'll tell me, you know, here's my class average, but it was only worth 5 points. So it's really an 80, not a 40. I can look at my classes. So you can see I've got 1 teacher here for this iCon session. And then in my test class, I've got 2 lessons, 2 students, and 1 teacher, which Gina King is there. But you can invite co-teachers, which is nice. So if I wanted to share this with maybe a SPED teacher or someone else that I was trying to co-facilitate with, I could get it there. And then, like I said earlier, they've got this public library. So the Insert Learning Library is basically people who have published their Insert Learning questions for you. So you can look at subject area. I always go to social studies. Again, that's my love there. I'm going to go to 11th grade social studies, which should be U.S. history. And then I'm just going to, it'll sort for me, so you can see it's working up here, or I can type in a specific topic and it'll do that. Now here's one from English about night and the Holocaust, and there are people who have either entered their school or their name, and then you can see what you want to do and find those. Okay, so let me go back to my Q&A because I don't think anybody had any questions? Nope. Okay. So, all right. Now, let's talk about app smashing. So I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to click on this app smash. Now, I am going to share these slides with you. Insert Learning is kind of intuitive, so there's not very much to the slides, but this app smash list is really what's important here. So this app smash list, I've alphabetized it for you. This is on the Insert Learning website as well. So if you can't find it here, you can definitely find it there. But it literally tells you every app or resource that Insert Learning works with. So I don't even know what half of these are. I'm guessing some of them are elementary level. But you can see it does it for Google Calendar, Google Docs, Google Drawing, Google Drive, Hangouts, Tour Builder, which is amazing. You can use Google Maps to do either lit trips or a tour builder and have the kids create like a literal virtual tour of a city. So you could do Insert Learning there. You can do it on Lucidchart. You could do it through Padlet. You can do it on Pictochart. Poplet, which I know is elementary. Quizzes. So if you've got a quiz that you have over a unit or even over the website, if I had a quiz over ancient Egypt that I wanted to put on that website, I could put it there. Obviously, it'll work with Screencastify. SlideShare, you can embed s'mores. Wordle, which is, you know, how the kids can make like a word cloud. Vimeo is another video thing, kind of like YouTube. ThingLink. It works with so many things. So you just pick whatever it is that you want. So if I, for instance, wanted to add a Google form to that mask assignment, okay, so I would go to, I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I would go to forms.google.com. It's going to bring up this plenty of options, and I'm going to go with one that I've already done so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. So okay, here. This is one that a teacher shared with me about biology solutions. It doesn't really match ancient Egypt, but you guys will get the picture. Okay. So here I've got my quiz, first name, last name, class period, and then all of the images, the questions. Okay. And this is, again, science. So it's all about solutions. Now, if I want to send this, because I'm going to put it on my insert learning sticky note, I literally just click send. And then this little picture here that looks like a greater than less than symbol, like two mouths, this is my embed code. So I'm going to click copy, and I've got my code now. So if I go back to my mask at the Smithsonian, okay, and I click on a new sticky note, oh, it just doesn't want me to do it on anything over here, but it let me highlight stuff. Okay, here we go, object details. So complete the quiz, and then I'm going to type in, I'm just going to do Command V, and I pasted my code there. And now, just like magic, that quiz, exactly as it looks in Google Forms, has popped up here. So now I've got everything here. And as the kids complete it here, it shows up. Oh, you guys can't see. Share the tab. There we go. All right. So I put in Command V or Control V for those of you that aren't on a Mac. And I pasted the embed code for the quiz, and it pops up like magic. And it's the exact same quiz, but now if I'm on a science website, maybe YouTube for a review, or one of the websites that I've created for my class, or a crash course video, or anything else that would be helpful, okay, now the kids can literally watch the resource, take the quiz, and all of these answers from this quiz are going to show up exactly as they would if they take the regular Google form at the Google Form site on my Google Sheet. So that's how you would app smash with a Google form. You can also do that with Flipgrid. So, and it's the same concept. You would just go to flipgrid.com, share my Flipgrid tab. So you can see this. I'm going to educator login. And now it's going to load all of my Flipgrids so I can see anything here that I wanted. So let's just go to one-to-one grid. I'm going to click share, would you rather? Okay, and again, here's that little picture. There might be something in the middle, but you'll always see the greater than, less than signs. So I'm going to copy that embed code. So you just click it and it's copied. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to add another sticky note to the object details. So here it is. And then, so now it's blank, and I say complete this Flipgrid. And then I'm just going to literally do, again, Control V. Now, if I scroll down, you can see once it loads, my Flipgrid will be there. It's going to take it a minute because it has to embed, but there you go. So now you can see my Flipgrid, and they would just click login with Google, and they're good to go. So you can turn anything basically into a hyperdoc, because it'll work with Google Docs, it'll work with on any web page, and the kids don't have to go anywhere else. So if you want them to do the Flipgrid, so they've got the oral learning, if you want them to do the quiz so you can verify and check their learning, if you want them to maybe draw, you know, their interpretation of this mask, you can embed a Google drawing link, and they don't have to go to 17 different places. They go to the one website that you provide them with, so you can put this out in Google Classroom, and then boom, you're good to go. So let me show you what that looks like in Google Classroom, because we did assign the mask lesson. So I'm going to open a new tab, share this tab instead. I'm going to go to classroom.google.com. And then my test class is right up here at the top. Yay. Okay, so if I click on my test class, you can see I've got my little Bitmoji thing, and that's one of the things I'm doing later. So if you want to know how I made this cute little header here, come back later today. So now if I go to classwork, it should be here, and it's not. So let's go back to insert learning and make sure that we assigned it, because it's not there. So I'm going to click on lessons. It's loading. Once it loads, we're going to click on the Egyptian mask again. Okay, and then I'm going to click assign. It says it's assigned to my test class. I'm going to click Google Classroom test class, share to these classes. Okay, it's thinking. All right, so now you should be there. There we go. Okay, so if I click on the mask, this is what it's going to look like to the students. So share this tab. All right, so here it is. I posted it at 8:22, and it says via insert learning. So it's literally just going to say this is an insert learning assignment. They're going to click on the web page, and then it takes them back to the web page that we were just editing. And once it loads, all of the things that we added, the highlights, the sticky notes, the Google quiz, the Flipgrid, all of it is there. Now, what's really cool for the students is they have the option to also highlight text and add sticky notes. So if you're using this in an English class or even in a social studies class, and you want them to annotate the text, and you want to say, hey, you know, highlight 3 things that you found interesting, or leave me a sticky note about your favorite part. The kids have the same tools that you do. So they can highlight, they can add sticky notes. So when you go to grade it, you can kind of see what they thought was interesting, what they highlighted, if they annotated at all. So there's a lot of opportunity there for the students to explore and say, you know, oh, I don't really know this word, or I had trouble reading this, or I couldn't complete the quiz because, or the quiz was hard because, and it's not just cut and dry, you did it or you didn't do it. There's a lot of flexibility there for you and the student. Okay, so let me go back to my slides. Okay, so I showed you guys how to do all of those things. Okay, so now is time for questions. You guys don't have to fill out the question thing at the top. If you have a question, just unmic and then ask away. It's pretty easy.